Live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead about about 10 minutes or so. We'll get started on the radio side then. Otherwise, we're just going to kick back and do the whole morning side here. My sign that was made for me right here. You can't read it. It doesn't focus that far away for some reason, but it was made by my friend Waylon and his wife Kim. It says, "Notice, you are no longer a trespasser. You are now a target." Love it. Morning, Mr. Bulgy. What the hell? I'm like scattered here. Weekend of bucks for bras, land sales, all that good stuff. And I only got 18% on that, so we're going to leave that off for a little bit. Let's do some ivermectin, shall we? I still got people like, "You're still doing that?" Yep. No swine. I realized something when I got back from when I got to Texas. I didn't realize this. I kind of knew about it, but I didn't know a lot about it. Do you know that Dallas is very liberal? Morning, Karen. I did not know that. Morning, Waylon. Thanks for the sign, buddy. Yeah. So, and it's also, I found out that when it comes to the end of the year and you haven't sold your calves yet, and your budget is like, I don't do operating notes. So I don't, everything I pay through the summer, I pay. I don't, I didn't, I was not able to afford the hog hunting that was in and around the Dallas area. Cheers, by the way. So instead, I sought out exotic boots. Morning, Dave. And I found the only place that looked like it carried multiple versions of exotic illegal style boots. I don't know how illegal some of this stuff was, but when I requested an Uber to go down to Gomez Western Wear, that should have gave it away. Yeah, that's profiling. I know that saves time. But I went down there anyway, and he's like, "You're going to this area." And he dropped me off and he said, "Good luck." And great little place. Just trust me, I did not fit in. Anyway, I bought myself a sweet pair of Python boots. So at the next benefit auction in, I guess, I don't know when it'll be. University Mirror, I think, is my next one. I think it's going to be pretty sweet. Anyway, morning, Wayne. So yeah, the hog hunting, the cheapest one I could find within the Dallas-Fort Worth area was $5,000. And I thought to myself, there is something else I can do with that money. Sure as hell isn't it? Leaving the hogs down there because I wasn't going to pay for the shipping to get them back. So I bummed around. I took a weekend off. Thanks, Wayne, for filling in. Morning, Levi. Thanks for keeping the lights on, Levi. Let's see here. All right, stations. I'll do a countdown here before I call my guest up here. 7 o'clock coming up here in 20 seconds. Whoops. That was because of the helicopter. It's way too much money. That's what I wanted to do, though. I want to go on a helicopter. I don't have time to sit in a stand all damn day. Man, I'm telling you. That's what I was hoping for, right? But they don't care about Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio giving a special deal or nothing on that. I'll tell you that right now. All right, station 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central Time. On Mark. Let's give Dusty a call here and see if he's up. Morning, Eric. Appreciate you guys all tuning back in here. Hello.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Dusty. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're live on YouTube as a pre-show here for a little bit, so just to give you a heads up.
Great.
So how the heck have you been, man?
Been pretty fantastic here. So kind of winding down for the bee year. Looking forward to hunting season now.
Yeah.
You?
Getting into the weaning calves here. I got mine. I'm gonna set everything up today, wean tomorrow. Ultrasound on Tuesday, and then try to get all the help the neighbors as much as we can. We had our local livestock market was doing, it was just what it was, and then somebody bought it, and all of a sudden it's doing really, really good. So instead of the neighbors going to, Faith and Lemon and Dickinson, and now they're all going to Bowman, and we're all going at the same time. So now we're short of help.
Oh, sure.
So it's a good thing, right? I mean, it's a good thing that they're doing well locally, but
you bet.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I appreciate you taking my text and coming on here today. That's cool. I've been meaning to get a hold of you for a long time. I get a kick out of your Facebook posts.
Fantastic.
Make me giggle so much. I've been saying a lot of this stuff for a long time. You talk to the folks down in Colorado, they're like, "You guys are worried about this?"
Right.
Really?
Just depends on how hard your agencies are pushing.
Oh, well, there's, like I always say, follow the money.
Yep, that's exactly it. Well, my wife runs that page, and she does a tremendous job.
Yeah. So we got a break, 5-minute break at 15 after and 30 after. Just as a heads up, so if I cut you off or anything like that.
You bet.
Wayne Muth says, thanks for the moose help.
Oh, hey, you're welcome, Wayne. Boy, he killed a stellar moose.
It looks really nice. Yeah. See, I can't wait till he comes down to help brand next year, so he brings fresh, like either moose sausage or jerky or something, I mean.
He better bring the good stuff, the backstrap or something good, right?
Yeah.
No, he's a super guy.
Yeah, I appreciate him filling in last week too for me.
Yeah, he and Levi did a great job on the show.
I was trying to listen in, and here's the thing about cities. North Dakota is one of these areas, South Dakota too. Our local broadband cooperatives do such a nice job and offer such great internet. You go to these big cities, and it is absolutely disgusting what they have. And they're like, well, we got 5G on our phones. I'm like, you know what 5G, G does not stand for gig. It stands for fifth generation. They don't even have 5G capabilities wireless yet. So, and if they do, trust me, you're going to be paying a lot more than what you're paying on your cell phone right now.
Exactly.
So we're very fortunate, but it was just, but it was nice. Take a little break here before the rush.
Yeah, you bet.
So where are you living at now, Dusty?
Center, North Dakota.
Hunter, North Dakota?
Center, North Dakota.
Oh, Center. You're in Center. Okay, sorry.
Yep. Just northwest of Bismarck.
The Wolf's Den.
The Wolf's Den, yep. A few of them in town. But yeah, we've been here for about 20 years now. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, Scott.
We since this covers both North and South Dakota, we'll keep it somewhat generic, except when we talk about restrictions of baiting and what have you. But kind of a generic CWD around the area.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
because all the states are all pushing the same thing. So,
South Dakota's not pushing it quite as hard as I see a lot of other states. But
that's good.
Yeah, you don't hear about it as much down in that area.
Sure. Well, you don't see them applying for much of the federal funds either.
No, they don't. And that's the big ticket, I think, for a lot of that is money.
That's right.
However, they got they have kind of a different way. They have an advisory board over it. That rules the game and fish, unlike our governor, which kind of does that here. So they got a little different take on things. That they don't want to scare people. It's not a scare tactic.
Right. That's how it should be. But when North Dakota Game and Fish has no accountability.
Yeah.
can do what they want.
I've interviewed a few biologists and everything. They're like, there's no way they're spreading it by baiting or anything. There's like no way, no how. They said so. Anyway, 30 seconds of showtime. I'm going to turn you down here a little bit, get things ready to go for the stations. 20 seconds of showtime. 20 seconds on mark. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Scott Bachmeyer back in the air chair, as they used to call it back in the day here. As I want to give a special thanks out to Wayne Muth for filling in, Levi Nelson for helping out here in the last weekend. As I took a couple days off. I did. I was going to go hog hunting, and well, let me tell you what, when you go around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I didn't realize how expensive a chopper was to go, and that's what I wanted to do. But instead, I saved money, and I just went and got a pair of boots instead. So there you go. Also, a couple of things going out here this week. We had the Bismarck Cancer Center had me as the auctioneer for their annual Bucks for Bras fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me each and every year up in that area as well. Thank you. Today, we're going to be talking about EHD, CWD, and all that goes along with it. Dusty Backer here is one of my guests here. Good morning, Dusty.
Hey, good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
Did I pronounce your last name right, or is it Baker? I'm not sure.
No, it is Backer. You did good.
Okay. You know, and this is what I love about live radio, and I did not preface. I sent you a text if you could come on the program. You said, sure. I didn't. All I said was give me a little information about you, but I kind of knew most of that stuff already, so that was nice about it. But I don't ask any pre-questions. It's not staged or anything. The phone lines are open. We're willing to take calls and have conversation about CWD, and let's do that. Let's get that started here. First and foremost, give us a little background about you and moving here to the Dakota Territory and what brought you up here.
Really, it was the job. So we run honeybees.
Okay.
And Nebraska, where we grew up, me and my wife, it's a lot of corn and beans. It's just not good honey country, not really that good for the bees. So that's what brought us to center North Dakota.
Okay. So and you're looking for bee production. You're looking at what? Yellow clover, white clover, natural grasses. I thought crops would be really good to have for honey.
Canola, sunflowers, alfalfa. Those are the good crops for honey. Absolutely. That's what makes North Dakota the number one honey producer, along with all the sweet clover, white, yellow, all the fall flowers. You got goldenrod. Just keeps the bees healthy too, with all the natural pollen out there.
Best tasting honey in the world right here.
That's right. You got it.
All right. Well, good enough.
It just happens to be a hunter's paradise on top of it.
We really are fortunate. We really are. And here's I'm going to tell you a little story here before we get into getting everybody riled up and stirring the pot a little bit. Okay. So being in Dallas the last weekend, I took an Uber to one of the oldest Mexican boot makers in Dallas, Texas. And it was in a very rough part of town. When the Uber guy dropped me off, Ahmed or whatever his name was, he said, good luck. And he took off like fast. And it was in a sketchy part of town. And when I got done and I wanted an Uber back to the hotel, it took over 40 minutes for anybody to accept it to come into that area. And when he did, the guy's name was Chung Po from Taiwan, moved here for education for his kids. Over in Asian country, by the way. And he said he asked me where I was from, and he said he flew into Rapid City, rented a car, went to Mount Rushmore, went through Custer, came up to the Badlands of North Dakota, went through the park. Then he went to Glacier National Park in Montana. And he said something that made me realize that you and I can appreciate every day of our lives, and especially in our professions. He said, you live in the most beautiful part, he said, because when I got there, he said, I grew up in cities all my life, and I never smelled grass. I've never gotten the smell of cedar trees or pine trees. He says he even smelled buffalo poop. And he was so excited. He said, when I retire, I'm moving to either South Dakota, North Dakota, or Montana. He said, I absolutely love that. And it takes us for granted because I never really, I wake up and I get to smell this every day. I hear elk bugling in the backgrounds most every morning when I get up. And that's one thing we don't appreciate sometimes. So thanks for, backing that up and being one of those guys that's saying, you know what, this is a great place to not only raise a family and cattle and hunt, you can raise honeybees too.
That's right. It's the best kept secret, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Super grateful.
We're trying to keep it a secret. It's harder and harder anymore. So
That's right.
So
I get a few bad winters now and then. That kind of just keeps a few people out.
Yeah, that's what everybody said. Oh, it's so cold. I'm like, well, not really. I said, it was like 85 in Dallas that day. I said, I looked at my phone. I said, it's 76 back home. And they're like, really?
Right.
We thought you guys would have snow by then. And I'm like, well, we did have a little snow when we flew out in Rapid City, but other than that, that's all right. But here we go. Going into the hunting season, most everything is open up except deer season around the corner. Our pronghorn closed up here a couple weeks ago in South Dakota as well. But pheasant season's going on. We have a grouse season. Everybody around this area, we have a lot of partridge this year that we usually haven't had for many, many years. But our grouse and partridge in this area, absolutely phenomenal. Pheasant season looks like, there's people parked on every corner of the road in pheasant country. And that's nice to see them out getting some birds. But when it comes to the deer season coming around the corner and archery season for deer, we talk about chronic waste disease. And state to state, no matter where you go, you're going to have to, if you're bringing something in from different states, you usually got to get it checked out, or you got to have certain methods done with your skull and meat and all that. So let's start the whole conversation of chronic waste disease versus EHD, which EHD killed us here a couple years, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and we're trying to build back. What's the difference between those two issues, I guess you could call them?
Well, one's really the deer killer, which is EHD, and CWD is just a politically, federally funded push narrative agenda across the nation. So EHD is just a virus, and this little midge carries the virus, and when it bites the deer, that goes up the nose, and it takes several 100,000. I mean, it takes a lot of bites to kill these deer, but then it triggers an immune response, and a lot of deer are dead within 24 to 48 hours, and we saw that in 2021.
Yeah,
I mean, it decimated North Dakota. Yeah, our unit here close to Bismarck, 3D2, it killed 90 to 95% of our whitetails. I found 100 dead whitetails within a mile and a half of creek bottom, and we still have bounced back and recovered from it. Now I hear there's a little bit of it this year again too in places.
The thing about EHD, this midge gets in them, and then it seems like it makes them thirsty or something, and they're fevered up and they try to get down to water. When I was fencing in Little Missouri, some of the crossings that we have around there, I mean, I was stepping over deer every 10 feet down that way. And it was just crazy how many dead deer there were. But when it comes, do you believe that CWD, chronic wasting disease, does take the lives of some deer? Do you feel that it does kill deer here or there?
CWD is a real neurodegenerative disease, but it's not contagious. It was labeled in 1967. So what I mean by labeled was that they just, it's a neurodegenerative disease. They call it a TSE, a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy, which is holes in the brain. But really, unless the deer is autopsied, you don't even know if it has a TSE, or they could have Alzheimer's, dementia, MS, ALS. They're all the same symptoms. They're all the same pathologies, just in a different location. So CWD, the neurodegenerative disease, is it's the degrading of the myelin of the brain and the spinal cord, and the myelin also wraps the nerve cell, or the nerve fibers.
Yeah.
So when the myelin cell dies, it just depends on the location. So, and brain is majority myelin, and myelin is 100% cholesterol. And if the animal, not just animals, but humans too, our liver they turn cholesterol into myelin. So if we don't have the raw materials for our liver to make cholesterol, then the myelin cell dies. It just depends on location.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to continue this talk. We got some people asking phone numbers. It's 888-9-DAKOTA, 888-9-DAKOTA, back right after these messages. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's your tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to their next equipment auction coming up on Monday, October 28th. It's the Southern Dakota Fall 2024 Equipment Auction. This will be held out of their Worthing, South Dakota facilities. The next land auction is Tuesday, October 29th in Barnes County, featuring 225-acre plots, 157-acre plot, and then on Tuesday, October 29th, 1,957 acres in Lamar County. For more information and a list of all auctions, go to pifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to the next equipment auction coming up on Monday, October 28th. It's the Southern Dakota Fall 2024 Equipment Auction. This will be held out of their Worthing, South Dakota facilities. The next land auction is Tuesday, October 29th in Barnes County, featuring 225-acre plots, 157-acre plot, and then on Tuesday, October 29th, 1,957 acres in Lamar County. For more information and a list of all auctions, go to pifers.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down, and when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Thanks for everybody tuning in, whether you're on great radio stations like K-Fire 550, Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB in Minot, KLTC in Dickinson, KOLY, Mobridge, South Dakota, and our friends down at KGFX in Pierce, Fort Pierce, South Dakota. Thank you guys for tuning in. And also everybody on our live stream on our YouTube channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio. Dusty Backer's my guest. We're talking chronic waste disease, CWD, as everybody knows it. And, well, I tell you what, Dusty, one of the things that in the North Dakota side, if like this morning I was looking online on some of the restrictions and what have you, and it's a little bit, it says baiting restrictions, and it shows a map of all the gray area, mostly western side of the state. And it says it's illegal to hunt big game over bait or place bait to attract big game for purpose of hunting in these units. And it lists all the units for the 2024-25 season. Is it illegal to put down mineral corn or corn feeders or anything on the western side of the state? Because that's how I read it.
Absolutely not. The entire state of North Dakota can put supplemental feed down anytime, anywhere, any amount. Obviously, we don't want to push putting semi-loads of corn down,
right.
But nope, anybody in the state of North Dakota, that's where this confusion can place supplemental feed, even in the restricted areas. That's where the confusion came. And 2 years ago when the HB 1151 was coming through legislation, even the legislators were confused because it was seen as the baiting bill, and it never should have been a baiting bill because it's actually a hunting restriction. North Dakota Game and Fish cannot ban supplemental feed. They cannot ban the feeding of wildlife. That was set in the legislature years ago. They can only ban for the purpose of hunting. So it really should be a hunting restriction. Yeah. Now, do they call it hunting or baiting when you're hunting over it? Possibly. But the entire state, got to make that clear, can place supplemental feed. But if you're in a restricted unit, you just can't hunt over it. You can sit in your blind, take all the pictures you want, but you cannot hunt over the supplemental feed.
But you can still put it out. I can put mineral out. I can put blocks out, salt licks, whatever. I just can't hunt over them.
Absolutely.
So what is over? Property. What does over that mean? What is there like a yardage restriction?
There's not a yardage restriction. So there you go. There's the gray area. Can I sit off that pile? But they also say you can't hunt over for the purpose of hunting. So am I sitting on a trail coming to that supplemental feed? Is that for the purpose of hunting?
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of gray area in there, but they cannot ban supplemental feeding of wildlife in the state of North Dakota.
How about like food plots? I mean, what if I'm sitting in a tree stand overlooking a food plot that I put in purposely to attract animals?
That seems to be okay. Everybody can put in all the food plots they want. Yeah, you could have a half an acre and have 200-300 deer in there, and that's fine.
Okay. How about a silage pile?
Exactly. Yep, that's fine too.
Okay.
I mean, you have apple trees, anything what they would call natural out there. But we know CWD, it's not even contagious. Let's just be real and put it out there. North Dakota's numbers, 40,000 plus deer, Scott, have been tested since 2002. There's only been like 120 detections. That alone isn't even show that it's contagious. However, the tests are pushing this. Don't even pick up a neurodegenerative disease. They pick up a bacteria, fungus, virus, yeast that's attached to antigens. That's what these tests pick up. There's only been one confirmed deer in the state of North Dakota up by Williston. That was actually necropsied out of 40,000 plus deer tested in 22 years, Scott. One. And the Game and Fish, that deer was turned in. That deer was found dead. And after that deer was found dead, our Game and Fish, North Dakota Game and Fish, went and slaughtered 50 plus deer, town deer, disposed of all the meat, and all those deer were negative. I mean, the madness has got to stop.
Okay, we got one. I got to get in on that a little bit more too. Question comes up, and I want to make sure I have time for all questions here. You can message me through my YouTube channel. My cell phone number is 701-425-6651. The call-in number, if you want to call in and be live, and it automatically puts you on hold, and I'll get to you when I get to you. 888-932-5682. That's 888-9-DAKOTA. Wayne asks, can you clarify the public versus private? Does that make a difference?
Absolutely, it does. So on all state lands, school lands, the wildlife management areas, that's managed and controlled by our Game and Fish. in the state, so there will be no supplemental feeding on those. So supplemental feeding.
How about Forest Service?
No.
Okay.
Yep. Only private property.
Okay. So what I do on my private land is no big deal. I mean, it's up to me.
Correct.
Because that's my land.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Very good. Back to the
But not according to the Game of Fish. You can't hunt over it on private property.
Right. There goes our private property rights again.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother argument we could get into. So coming back to 40,000 deer, and they tested. He said they only found one that I say possibly maybe it got hit by something. I don't know, but anyway, out of those 40,000, the ones that were deemed positive for CWD were shot by somebody that turned that head in.
Correct. Or found alongside of the road. Right?
I think that's what people have to realize when they say that X amount of deer have been confirmed with chronic waste disease. Another hunter shot it. And, that's why they do these head turn-ins. And are those, when you turn in those heads, I mean, that's voluntary, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to do that. That's not required.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. Volunteer in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And in some states, they're making it mandatory. But in North Dakota, it's voluntary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how that, like you said, there's a lot of gray area, and that's why I was trying to clear some of this up and make sure we let people know when it gets closer and closer. Deer season's around the corner here in a week and a half, and we can get some people can get excited about, oh my God, we can't eat the meat if it tests positive for CWD. It's going to transfer. What's the scoop on that?
It's never been to humans, and it's been around since, we know it's been around forever. They just labeled it in 1967, the last 57 years, because once you label it, here comes all the federal funds, the money. It's just like most diseases, you label it, and then here comes the money. But it's never gone to humans, and think of all the deer that have been taken over the years.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, they make it out like CWD and scrapie are these only two special neurodegenerative TSCs that are contagious, while CJD, the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans, same thing. They claim holes in the brain, that is not contagious. I reached out to Case Western. In fact, they're the leading prion institute in the nation on the human side for the CJD patients. And guess what? They can't show me a picture of a prion on a microscopic slide either, Scott. And they came out and say it's not even contagious, not even in the blood. So what? I mean, there's a reason these tests are testing the lymph nodes and rectum tissue where all the toxins leave your body, right, Scott? Yeah. So what are they testing?
It's interesting when you say that it's not contagious, but when you look at some of the CWD information, it says that they're trying to keep the congregation of deer because it can be passed on when they touch noses or through urine or what have you, and that seems to be pretty far-fetched.
Right. Well, even in their own document, every agency runs off the AFWA document, Association of Fish and Wildlife Agency document. You can look it up on your own website in South Dakota or wherever you're at. And it's just, it'll tell you right in there, supplemental feed doesn't even mitigate the spread in their own document. Like there's nothing out there one document for 57 years and over $500 million has been spent already. And they can't even prove it's contagious through supplemental feed, and their numbers don't even show it. They can't even show us a picture of a prion, all these thousands and thousands of tests, and we can't see a picture of a prion. There's a reason it's still a hypothesis. Even on our North Dakota Game and Fish website, go on their CWD, look at the Cornell University. It says it right on there, hypothesis. The most widely accepted. After 57 years, $500 million.
It's a lot of money.
Mad. That's a lot of money. It's a real thing, but it's super rare and it's not contagious. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah. Say you lose one deer over 10 years, and then you look at EHD and you look thousands of deer. It's just kind of interesting to see why maybe some funding or some research isn't going to be put into the EHD side of things. But we can talk about that on the second half of the program. We're coming up on another break. Dusty Backer's my guest here this morning. The call-in number is 888-932-5682. And you can call in here. You get automatically put on hold. You can also text me at 701-425-6651. We got a couple of texts coming in. We'll get to those on the second half of the break. A big thanks to all the sponsors. They keep things rolling, and all the radio stations that allow me to be on part of your Saturday each and every morning. We'll be back right after these messages on Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com.
Agriculture is a community of hard work, passion, optimism for the future, and a commitment to the livestock and land. For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing. Our local lending team knows the industry and the challenges, from droughts to winter blizzards. Stop by one of our branches today in your work boots or cowboy boots. You're always welcome.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to the next equipment auction coming up on Monday, October 28th. It's the Southern Dakota Fall 2024 Equipment Auction. This will be held out of their Worthing, South Dakota facilities. The next land auction is Tuesday, October 29th in Barnes County, featuring 225-acre plots, 157-acre plot, and then on Tuesday, October 29th, 1,957 acres in Lemoore County. For more information and a list of all auctions, go to pifers.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Piper's Auction and Realty would like to invite you to the next equipment auction coming up on Monday, October 28th. It's the Southern Dakota Fall 2024 Equipment Auction. This will be held out of their Worthing, South Dakota facilities. The next land auction is Tuesday, October 29th in Barnes County, featuring 225-acre plots, 157-acre plot, and then on Tuesday, October 29th, 1,957 acres in Lemoore County. For more information and a list of all auctions, go to pifers.com.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition in the second half of the hour here, talking with Dusty Backer as we just getting a little more information on chronic waste disease. And Dusty spent a lot of time researching and talking with a lot of different people all across the nation, finding out and trying to educate people on some of the what you might not know about it, maybe a little different take on things here than what we see on some of the pamphlets that are handed out. Well, let's get to some text messages. You ready there, Dusty, to get some text messages going on?
Absolutely.
All right. First one comes in, says pheasant hunters are finding dead deer. And the theory is all the stagnant water from the drought. And that usually means EHD when you get stagnant water. Or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, EHD outbreak. Once those midges, they live in that stagnant water and they have their eggs in that mud. So if the water keeps receding, and the good part about it, though, there's been a few frost out there, and usually the first hard frost will take care of those midges. So we're about good to go.
You know, I see the same thing. You know, our deer population is definitely, we got some mule deer does here and there, but I definitely, you're not seeing them. I mean, the other day I went and cleared out and sorted cows out of 8 sections of pasture, and I saw 3 deer is what I found. So it's kind of sad in some. I think it's going to be a tough deer hunting season. Next text message comes in. It says voluntary to cut the head off and expose spinal fluid, all the while pushing for the gutless method to prevent opening of the spinal fluid. It's like Lake Ashtabula hatchery being the zebra mussel super spreader.
That's about right. And they want us to turn our own samples in too. You know, let's just cut into our deer's head, and
yeah,
I mean, it just proves right there. It's just not even contagious.
Yeah. And if you're doing the deer collection set, that's probably not the right way to go about it with spreading the fluid out there.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. You look at that, and it's like, okay, if that's what they're worried about, because I mean, you transfer anything across state lines, no matter what. Because I live along the border of North and South Dakota, and if you're traveling through anything, you cannot bring that spinal cord or any of that with, because they're worried about that spinal fluid, right? That's what the big thing. But they tell you to cut the head off and drop it in a barrel.
Exactly. There's so much hypocrisy to this guy. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get it all today.
No, probably not. But I've never thought of that before. You know, I've never put that 2 and 2 together until this morning here. Another text comes in, says, great show this morning. Thanks, guys, for properly educating the public. So that's nice to hear, too.
You bet. Appreciate that.
You bet. Let's see. Yeah, we could use a lot of rain. No doubt about that. We could use, I hate to say this. I'm only going to say this because I'm weaning my calves tomorrow. But, a little bit of snow wouldn't hurt right now. And last year we were at like 14 inches of snow by this time here. So I'm trying to wean in snow banks and everything else. All right. Well, what else can we talk about? The money that's coming in for research. Is it going to research? Where's the money going?
Majority of it is going just to push the propaganda. And the reason I'm saying that is so that North Dakota in October of 2022, they got $96,300. And get this, Scott, I'm going to read it to you. This is going to just blow people's minds. Shifting behaviors to lower the risk of CWD, a multimedia approach. So first off, that's $96,300 of taxpayers' money. And whose behaviors, Scott? For one deer in the state of North Dakota out of 40,000, that would be our behaviors. They got the money for the chronic waste disease pamphlets to put on the bulletin boards. Like, that is propaganda brainwashing at its finest. And now in 2024, it just came out the other day from the USDA spending. They got North Dakota Game and Fish, CWD outreach, cultivating long-term engagement with a long-term issue, $168,723. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what that title means, what that portrays. I mean, I do see there's been a lot on social media, a lot coming into the last couple of weeks about CWD popping up on my news feeds and Instagram and TikTok side of things. Is that where some of that money you think is going? Is their version of educating through social media?
Oh, absolutely, because it says it right in the bill. Like, certain people have to sit at the table. You have to explain to the media, talk to the people, basically brainwash us. I mean, there's some criteria they have to meet in order to get these funds. They have to do these public meetings. So A couple years ago, they had 4 CWD meetings, and the public could not speak at the meeting. We just had to sit there and listen to their propaganda through the meetings. I mean, yeah, there's criteria they got to meet in order to get these funds. Every state has the same criteria. So if you go look at South Dakota or go look at Texas, any of these other agencies, they have the same meetings talking about the same thing, pushing the same narrative.
Yeah. So, I'm going to play the devil's advocate a little bit on this for you. See where this goes. And so CWD is a thing. Should game and fish departments stand back and do nothing?
Yes.
You think so? Okay.
Focus on EHD. EHD is a killer. I mean, one deer, Scott, out of 22 years, and like Texas has had 2 or 3 confirmed, and they have a 6 million growing deer population. And Texas has slaughtered 400,000 deer, and putting Texas breeders, the Texas Parks and Wildlife has slaughtered 400,000 plus deer and putting businesses out, and they can't even prove that a prion exists. They can't even do an autopsy on it to see if they even have the disease, all because of these faulty tests. I mean, this is just madness. Need to focus on EHD and the real killers of deer. And because, just think about it, the human neurodegenerative diseases, CJD, Alzheimer's, they're not contagious, but CWD and scrapie are. No,
so
it doesn't make sense.
So they can't find anything for it. They can't find prions. They can't get a photo of one, even under microscopic images. There's no way of treating it. And in my mind, I've always thought, well, instead of going against baiting and putting mineral tubs and licks out and everything, what if a person came up with some type of vaccine or whatever you could put in that mineral, and then they're getting that in their system and fighting it, bring them to the lick block?
Well, here's the thing. We've been working with Dr. Joel Wallach, and he's got a book in the Smithsonian Institute. He's done over 30,000 autopsies with an electron microscope of 126,000 magnification, and he's never seen a prion. In fact, his book that's in the Smithsonian proves that majority of the animals and humans that die of natural causes die of nutritional deficiency diseases. That's his book that's in the Smithsonian. And what it boils down to is nutrition, supplemental feed, actually. We don't need vaccines. We need nutrition is the key. Now, it's either nutritional deficiency or you can get toxins that cause cells to die. Because all disease is just cell disease. It's not a prion, it's a cell, right? Well, if you don't have the nutrition in your body, vitamins and minerals, the biochemistry, cells die. Or if you have toxins, cells die. That's what it boils down to. So nutrition actually just is the key. Push supplemental feeding versus just putting a pile of corn down. We don't need just piles of corn down to shoot a deer over. Let's actually supplemental feed the deer, if anything.
So I said this yesterday to a couple of people at an auction sale. We were discussing, getting older and my helping out with the Bismarck Cancer Center and everything. And they said someday they're going to find. I said maybe they already have a cure for cancer, but there's no money in healthy people. Can a guy say that about animals? There's no money in healthy animals.
Well, go to the livestock industry. They solved this 100 years ago with supplementation mineral blocks. Like, let's not give your cattle silage. Let's just give them some junk hay over the winter. Don't give them minerals. Don't give them salt. And let's just see how many diseases our livestock have. They solved this 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And in humans, we're no different. So absolutely, you're right.
So a question comes in.
Prevention is key.
Yeah, question comes in from the mayor. He says, so what's the end game? Ban hunting, introduce wolves to eat all the deer? What's the end game here? And, I'm going to split that into two. What's the end game, hopefully, for the game and fish side? What, in your opinion? And what's the end game for what you're going after?
I would say the end game is, they're going after the best meat on the planet. They've gone after just, think about it, they've killed the beef industry for years, the pork industry, and now the chickens they're going after, and then our wild game is what we have left. That's my personal opinion. I don't think the agencies know why they're pushing it, because there's so much funds and power at stake. That's why they're pushing it. But for me, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And we know the truth now, and that's our job. We feel is to spread the truth. We've been gifted a lot of information with a lot of people around the nation, and we're just exposing the truth.
Getting rid of the gray area would be nice.
Exactly.
Right? That would be the end game on what I would like to see is, make it just black and white. Either do this or not. Just like trying to figure out, can I throw mineral out in the north side of my hayfield or not? If I look on the website, no, I can't. But you're saying yes, I can. So that would be nice, just to have that gray area kind of cleared away a little bit.
Absolutely. And we just need to, truth is easy to remember. Truth is simple, right? That's why what we're speaking is just simple, because it's truth. When the game of fish are confused and the hypocrisy, they're changing their surveillance zones. I mean, that just shows that it's a lie right there. There should have been 2 units, Scott banned. 3B2 and 2K1 are so protected. 2 years ago, they were to be banned, but the proclamation came out in August because of a late governor's signature. They didn't ban those 2 units in 2022. And then this last year, they didn't ban them again because they added them to their new surveillance zone, and they weren't even in their original surveillance map. Yeah. And then there were 3 other units from a detection in Winkler, Manitoba, that should be banned as well. So this year there should have been 5 units banned, and there's 5 units not banned. That's hypocrisy. This is a lie, Scott. That's confusion. Truth is simple.
Yeah. So a text comes in and says, is there going to be any bills coming up introduced in 2025 pertaining to this?
Yes.
There is. Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking at the map right now, and I see which ones that you're looking at this point here. And, same thing. I don't know if any of the South Dakota friends down on that side have any, what the South Dakota game side of things are doing. That would be nice to hear that too. And Natural One says the end game is eat the bugs. Another one says or drink the Kool-Aid. And so
that's right.
Yeah. That's
57 years, $500 million. Now they want to dump another $420 million, almost $1 billion. I mean, it's just madness. $70 million for 6 years on this, with a handful of actual autopsy clinicals in the nation.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there's just so much money at stake, so many people just keeping their jobs, with the CWD thing going.
So why aren't they doing this with EHD? I mean, they already know what causes it. They already know these midges. Why can't we do something to combat that? I mean, is there some mineral or vitamins that we could be pushing out there in the deer to do this?
That's a great question. There's just no money at stake.
I see.
Can't be manipulated. And they're like, oh, there's nothing we can do. The midges are out there. Well, is there something we can do to kill the midges, or something we can put around the water? I mean, there's got to be something we can do, because when the midge bites, it's a virus. It's an immune response inside the deer. So if you keep their immunity up, well, more will survive. It definitely will survive the secondary infection from the virus.
Do you see some deer getting a kind of a resilience against this EHD over the years? I know a buddy of mine down by Scranton, he got hit probably 6-7 years ago, really, really bad. And this last outbreak 3 years ago, it wasn't that bad in his area. Do they get a little resilience against this?
It makes sense that they would, because it's an immune response, right? So like if we get a cold or flu, we get, antibodies built up. So it would make sense that the deer would as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting to see still some areas fighting that. Boy, it's been dry. And we have got to remind people too, if you're going out hunting across North or South Dakota, it is dry. And the Forest Service put restrictions on no motorized vehicles on any trails. You have to park on a solid dirt or gravel road with zero grass on it. So and each county has their own laws, restrictions and ordinances in there too. So guys got to be very vigilant this year when you go out hunting, no matter which county you're going into. Please check your county rules. And if there's any BLM or Forest Service, they have also some restrictions on that as well. So just be vigilant when you're going out and doing that, because I've seen on social media, there's people calling for, why can't we just close the hunting season down until we get some rain or snow? What would be your take on that? I mean, let's throw CWD and EHD off the window for a while here and talk about that. Would you be open to seeing this hunting season close down, especially if you had one of the tags that you fought so hard to get over many, many years? Would you be open to that?
I do feel people's, I guess, frustrations out there and stuff too. I'm not sure about closing the season, but there should definitely be some accommodations made, I feel. I mean, I do like that our game and fish, like when we have some die-offs and hard winters, they do cut tags back. Now it's not enough in my unit from that EHD outbreak. But yeah, that's
a tough one, isn't it?
It's just tough. Yeah, it is.
I mean, you look at the folks that got their once in a lifetime elk tag. You know, what would they do? Well, why couldn't they, if they already got it filled? That's fine. But if you still have the tag in your hand, you know, maybe allow them to go into next year and utilize that tag. Or, you know, maybe it snows yet here in the next couple of weeks and we can open everything back up and everything will be fine. But yeah,
exactly.
So, to make that decision, can you imagine? And then the question comes in too, is it a county decision? You know, could the county say, you know what, we're just done. We don't, I mean, I drove through up to Williston from Tioga through Ray yesterday and seeing the devastation of that fire. Holy moly. What a giant fire that was up that way. And I can't imagine some of the families and people that got killed on that, you know, and then you get over into Badlands more where you can't fight the fire. You just got to let it go naturally until it hits a natural break. And you just kind of wonder it scares us, you know, especially those of us that are relying on this grass for our cattle for the winter time.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the best solution would be you just maybe have some meetings. You have to get all, you know, as many people that would show up involved and ask the people, because to me, it should be, if anything, not necessarily close the season, but like walk in only. Please just push like walking in. Don't tell the people, you know, put any laws or restrictions or regulations down. Just really suggest, please, if you're going to hunt off road, just walk in.
Yeah. And then there in turn starts another whole thing with all of us hauling cattle and hay and everything is where do you park? Because if you park in the ditch, you're parking in the grass.
Right.
You know, if you park on the edge, we can't get around you. And, you know, I mean, that's a tough one. It really is a tough one when it comes to that, because you just got to keep vigilant about it. You know, the best thing is I had some folks come into the yard and they're like, we just want to walk up into this federal. Can we park down in this little? I said, absolutely. There's a little gravel pit that we steal sand and gravel out of it. Just park in there, you know? And they're like, okay, thanks. You know, I mean, so some people are pretty vigilant about it and asking, so that's nice too. Gene says, when somebody starts farming grasshoppers, there's going to be a disease outbreak in the herds of the grasshoppers too. So if people want more information and finding out what you're researching and where you're finding that, where can they get this at?
A really good one would be our Facebook page at chronic space wasting space does ease. So that's capital DIS space capital EASE.
Or like dis-ease. I got it.
Correct. Yep. Dis-ease.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they can check out our video we made with Dr. Wallach. It's on YouTube, CWD. They missed it by a million miles. Please watch and share. Okay. There's a lot of the information on there on YouTube.
Say both of those again, so we everybody that's listening can have time to probably type it in their phones and search it again.
You bet. So the Facebook page is Chronic Wasting Does Ease, and the YouTube video would be CWD. They missed it by a million miles.
Okay. And if anybody wants to maybe contact you to speak in front of maybe an organization or wherever across the state, are you open to doing that?
Absolutely.
Okay. How do they get in touch with you? What's the easiest way?
Yeah, they can give me a call or text, area code 402-360-1038.
I get a kick out of this, you know, because it's you and me. We're very rare people that throw our text message or our cell phones out across the world here, across our YouTube channel. And that maybe this is why I'm getting all these political ads, because I heard that Wayne Muth said that I was down in Dallas for a Waltz Harris convention, for crying out loud. I'm going to get him back on that one. There's no doubt about that here. So, Dusty, thank you so much for being part of the program here today. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your Saturday, and we'll keep fighting the good fight. Appreciate all the information and clearing some of this information up for us. Thank you.
That's great, Scott. Thank you much. And thanks all listeners. Appreciate it.
You bet. Dusty Backer, you'll find, I'll try to get those links on my social media and link them as well. So if you couldn't find them and listen to them here, I'll get them for you. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear fur and wool, and make sure to be careful on all fire restrictions and county restrictions out there. Be safe. Have yourself a great weekend. All right, stations, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Dusty, we are on the after show here. I got one text. This pronghorn died from lead poisoning. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So, oh, he hung up on me. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. All right, friends, neighbors, and foes, have yourself a good weekend. I'm going to let you guys go a little bit early here today. No after show because I have to go set up for weaning. Have a great day.